Hey everyone, welcome to Ladies Night. Hello everyone. We are we're going to have a little bit of fun while we're waiting to get started. So if anyone wants to comment and just tell us what your name is, where you're from, we'd love to hear from you. Love to hear who's joining us tonight. And if you've been to a ladies' night before, you can let us know that here too, so we know who our big fans are coming to see us a second time or a third time. Turns out we've actually been doing ladies' night now for just over a year, if you can believe that. So that's kind of fun. I think this is probably our 9th or 10th ladies' night over the past year. So it's been really fun. It just gets fun. Everyone gets more fun than the last. So I just want to, so let me turn on my comments here so I can see who is joining us. We have Tanya from Maryland. Hi, Tanya. Let's see, maybe I might have a little delay here. All right. Donna from Kentucky. Hi, Donna. Carlin, I think is how you would pronounce that name. Hi, Carlin. And this is your first time, so welcome. Debbie from Blankenship. I'm not sure if that's in Florida. It does say hi from Florida. We have Sarah. We have Sarah from Canada, Carol Ann from Toronto. So we have some ladies joining us from Canada tonight. How exciting is that? Sharon from Texas. Hi, everyone. And Lindy from Bloomington, Minnesota, I think that is. Yes, MN. And Ezra from New York. Hello, Ezra. Welcome to Ladies Night. Cindy from Florida, Anne from Florida. Wow, a lot of Floridians tonight with us too. That's awesome. Thank you so much for joining us, especially since it's, rounding about 8 o'clock there on the East Coast. So we really appreciate you joining us. While some more people kind of file in, I'm going to quickly, all right, just make sure I have, all right, a couple more people. We'll say hi to Margot from Ontario, Canada again. Our Canadian ladies are showing up tonight. Hello. Hello to Paige and Diane and Marianne. All right, so we are looking at a full house tonight, ladies, which makes it so exciting. I want to start by introducing myself. If you have not been to a ladies' night before, my name is Colleen. I am the COO of Boom by Cindy Joseph, and I have the privilege and the pleasure of, talking to all of you out in Facebook, and of course to our esteemed guests that we have on each ladies' night. And so I want to give a very special welcome to the two ladies that are here joining me tonight. First is Jenny Johnson, and if you've come to ladies' night in the past, you may remember Jenny was on our late 2020 ladies' night, so just before the holidays. And so welcome back, Jenny. It's so nice to see you again.
Good to be here.
Yeah, and I'm going to let each of the ladies kind of introduce themselves, say a little bit more about themselves. But first, I also want to introduce Sheryl, or Sherry Gardner. Sherry is first-time ladies' night guest, and Sherry is also a Boom ambassador. And I'm going to let them kind of give a few more details about themselves. But I do want to quickly mention these nights are all about you. It's our chance to spend time with you and answer any questions you might have. We're going to dive a little bit deeper into some topics that we think are important for all women to discuss, especially those of us who are 50 and older. And we're going to be doing that this evening as well. But first, again, I'm going to turn it over to our guests so they can kind of let you know a little bit more about themselves. So Jenny, I'm going to start with you. We'd love to hear just a little bit more about you.
Okay, well, I've done this before, but I am still a little bit nervous. So bear with me, please, in case I, flub my lines or something. Anyway, I'm Jenny Johnson, live in Florida. I guess there's a lot of Floridians on the call. But I was born in Sri Lanka. It's a little island off the southeast coast of India. And when I was a year old, there was a civil war and we were the minority. So my parents decided that there really wasn't a future for them or us in Sri Lanka, unfortunately. So my father managed to get a job in Ghana, West Africa, and it turns out he was with the United Nations and had to move around every couple of years. So instead of moving us around, our parents sent us to boarding school when we were of age. I was 11 in England, and that's where the accent comes from. So I lived there, went to boarding school there, went to high school in London, and went to train as a physical therapist. Graduated and worked in London for a little while. But then I got the wanderlust and I wanted to see the world and America, especially. I think it's all those sort of American movies and shows that we watched, you know, Rhoda flipping her hat up and all that. Or was that Mary Tyler Moore? Whatever. Anyway, I got a job in Chicago as a home healthcare physical therapist and met my husband there. He had actually lived in London back in 75 and knew my sister and her husband. And when I moved to Chicago, she said, you know what, I'm going to give you Mark's number. He'll show you around the city. Well, 36 years later and 4 kids, he's still showing me around, and we moved to Naples. The winter of 93 pretty well did us in. Moved to Naples, Florida. I couldn't work as a physical therapist here. My license, you know, didn't reciprocate. And I was told I'd need to take a couple of exams if I wanted to have my license. But I'd just given birth to our 4th child, and I swear I'd ejected the very last brain cell along with him. And so I didn't get my license. I luckily actually fell into a job preschool teaching, and my son was in my 1st class. I got the necessary qualifications, loved that. And once all the kids left the roost, I became a realtor, which is what I'm doing right now. So anyway, that's me in a nutshell.
I love that. And I was just thinking, I sort of missed, I had a few of those to introduce you as the jack of all trades, which I know that you are known to call yourself. And that certainly is true. Wow, that's quite a lot of things. And I'm sure you are the master of all of them, including being the mother of 4 children. I stopped at 2. I thought that's about all I can handle because I understand the last brain cell.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So I ran out after 2.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Jenny. It's so nice to have you again. And I would also like, again, to give Sheryl the opportunity to say a little bit more about herself. I will say this, both of our guests this evening are mothers of, as Jenny said, 4 children. Sheryl is a mother of 5 children. So yeah, I'm sure that I'm going to take away a lot this evening on just, you know, the mothering skills and the balancing of it all. So, so Sheryl, let's hear a little bit more about you.
Well, I was born in 1957 in Columbus, Ohio, and that makes me 63. I went to Catherine Gibbs Secretarial School in 1975 to 6, and then came back and was a secretary until I got married and started having children. And I married my husband, Bob, 38 years ago. And one of the things we both wanted was a large family. So a couple years later, I had a boy. And when he was 2, I just thought I was the best mother in the world. He was so easy, so compliant. And then I gave birth to boy-girl twins, and they didn't spend 1 minute trying to please their mother. So they really humbled me, but I loved it. And then when they were 2.5, I had a girl. And when she was 4, I had a boy. So I've had 3 boys, 2 girls, and 4 of them still live within 2 hours. 3 of them live within like 45 minutes of me, and 1 lives in New Jersey. So my son, when he was in junior high, came home one day and said, I made the lead in the school play. I'm Oliver in Oliver Twist. And I was shocked because I didn't know he had any acting ability. And after that, he wanted to do local theater. And while he started auditioning, I decided, well, I want to have fun and audition because I'd been a thespian in high school. So I started auditioning and making it. And eventually 4 of my 5 did local theater in their teens, and that none of them have pursued it today. But when I was in my 40s, one of my fellow actors said, you know, you should register with a talent agency. And I'm like, me? I'm just a mother of 5. Why would I do that? And even my neighbors kind of were like, what's she doing? That poor little delusional thing. But I got the oomph together and went down and registered. And within 3 years, I had done 23 commercials, local and regional, nothing big. And I'm in a small market, but you know, I thought that was quite a good thing to set a personal goal and do it. And then in my 50s, I didn't see a lot of acting. And finally, in my late 50s, I became aware of Cindy Joseph. And, you know, I hadn't really thought about aging, but now once the kids left home, I realized, well, I guess I better start thinking about it now. And I didn't want to be fake. I just have embraced natural. And so when I saw Cindy Joseph, I thought that's exactly the kind of aging person I want to emulate. And she was pro-age. And so I ditched the golden blonde hair dye. And since I've gone silver, I retired from a job I had 18 years at the hospital doing medical dictation. And in the last year, I got my headshot updated, and I filmed 2 commercials and a movie that filmed in Licking County. And I was on hold to do a Hostess commercial, but they didn't choose me this week. But, you know, it's just, you have to have thick skin, and I view it more as kind of a hobby, and it keeps me interested and active and learning and growing. And so that's kind of a strange little hobby I have. I also work part-time driving elderly residents of a local retirement community to their doctor's appointments, and I drive them in the car or I drive a bus with a lift. So I had a sweet little old lady say to me the other day when I was driving the bus, you must have driven a camper when you were younger, because you drive this bus really good. So I'm kind of a jack of all trades, but
I love that. That certainly seems to be a theme. I'm just in awe. I feel like I have to, like, you know, check my resume. I am currently, you know, the CEO of Boom, which keeps me very busy, but I am fascinated by how, oh, we lost your light.
Sorry,
That's okay. That's okay. Well, I'll just keep blabbing while there you go. I think you're back.
Well, I don't know what's happened to my light, but can you see
Okay.
me?
Yeah, we can see you. If you want to tinker with it, that's fine. I was just going to say how, thank you both for sharing, by the way. Yeah, I am always fascinated, again, being a mother of 2 myself, just juggling it all. It really is a juggle. And I'm just so fascinated and in awe of both of you having, you know, double and more than double the amount of children that I had to, you know, juggle with, you know, with a career. And I'm just, you know, if you would want to talk about that a little bit, I would love to hear how, you know, how you managed all of that, you know, having a family, and then, you know, and then all of these different careers and all of the switches. It's I think a lot of women, you know, would gain a lot from that, if you want to elaborate.
You know, some people say, you know, you can do it all. You really can't do it all. I had a very supportive husband, very hands-on. He did travel a lot, but I was fortunate enough to be a full-time mom after I'd had our first 3 children, and we were in Chicago. When I came down here, we had the 4th. And as I said, I didn't want to try and license to become a physical therapist. I fell into this job as a preschool teacher. Basically, my son was going to go into pre-K3. The pre-K3 teacher got pregnant, left, and the director said, well, would you like to do it? I said, well, I don't, you know, I'm a physical therapist. She said, well, it's, you know, we'll give you the training, and you've had 4 children. So I ended up being a pre-K3 teacher, which I absolutely loved. You know, our son was in my first class, and it was fabulous because I had the same holidays as the children, same hours, and it just, you know, it worked perfectly. And it was only really once the kids left that I decided I'd had my real estate license for a little while, but I thought I'd put my big girl pants on and go out into the real world. And I now work in real estate. But, you know, you need to have support. And I did, a very supportive husband, you know, when I was working. So yeah, that's how I managed.
Yeah, I love the honesty of that answer, which is you really don't juggle it all by yourself. You
No,
really do. You have, you have help that, whether it's your husband or, and it sounds like you also remained very nimble in terms of, when we have children, you kind of have to, I mean, the word that I usually hear is sacrificing something, but I don't really like to look at it that way. I feel like you're um, our tech girl Laura will love this. You have to pivot a little bit for a while, and while you're doing something, while you're raising your children, it may look a little bit different, and then you can pivot back to focusing on your own career, which is similar to how it worked for me a little bit. I was definitely full-time working the whole time, but with various stages of trying to to just fit it a little bit better with their schedule so I could spend as much time as possible. How about you, Sheryl? I know you had 5, so I'm sure it was, a bit of a juggle for you too.
Well, we had 3 in just over 2 years and 4 under 5 and 5 under 5 and 9 years. So those first 15 years that I was a mother, I was blessed to be able to stay home full time with them because it was an emotionally full-time experience. But my husband made a career change and we lost health insurance. So we started paying for some catastrophic insurance. And then I discovered that the hospital just 10 minutes away gave really good benefits if you worked part-time. So I started doing medical dictation typing from home. So I did that for 10 years. So that worked out really great. And then by that time, my youngest was in high school and they asked me to come in full-time to put their records. I was working in cardiology and to put their records in EMR. And then after a couple of years, I worked myself out of a job because it became all automated. So you had to rediscover yourself. So I became the hospital operator. I'm a director call. And I worked 6 12-hour shifts in a week. And then I had a week off every other week. But you worked from 7:30 a.m. to 8 p.m. and you worked holidays and weekends. And I did that 4 years and it was just really starting to get to me. So I looked for a part-time job at the hospital and they had the shuttle bus open. And the only reason I did it was because it was 2.5 days and you were done for the week. And as I was looping around that parking lot, thinking I would lose my mind and what was I doing, about 3 months later, they came out and shut the job down because of COVID. So I was able to go back to my old department while the new girl was training. But in July, it just became obvious that it was a good time to just retire after 18.5 years from there. And so I can purchase a good insurance package through them. And I took a couple months off. My daughter got married and I grew 36 dahlia plants and I did the bulk of the flowers for her wedding in August.
Wow.
And in September, someone told me about the job down the street, driving the people to their doctor's appointments. And it was so funny because here I wondered, why was I driving around in circles? And it was to train me to drive this bus with the lift. So most of the driving I do is probably 80% driving in a car, but if they're in a wheelchair, then I do drive them on the bus. And I just really love driving them. They're grateful because they've been talking to their cat shut up from COVID for a year. And I'm a delightful conversationalist because I can talk.
Right.
But I do that. And then it's allowed me to do more auditioning and it allows me to go over and spend some time with my grandchildren and I can work in my garden, which I really enjoy doing. So I just feel, I just read Patricia Heaton's book, Your Second Act. And I really feel that, and Jenny probably attests to it, not only do we have a second act, but sometimes a third and a fourth act. And you're just, I think to stay joyful and growing like Cindy Joseph's philosophy, you just constantly have to be looking to the future. And, I was really sad when my kids grew up and left because that was such a gratifying time in my life, but it does come to an end and you just have to look forward and say, okay, what's my next step? So.
Right. I know, what I've heard, the one way I've heard it said is like, you look for the right in the situation. And there's there's right everywhere you look. You know, you can find yourself right in the right place, the right time. It's about that outlook, that mindset, like you just said, Sheryl. So I love that. I love that it's ever changing. And I'm kind of on the cusp of that happening. I have a 17-year-old and a 19-year-old. So they're already like mentally packing their bags and ready to move on. I'm not quite letting them go yet, but yeah, I am ready, and I'm, you know, I will welcome that time when it comes, but I understand you kind of white knuckle that just a little bit, like you don't want to quite let go, but I will be ready and I will embrace it. And that's a great way to look at it. Thank you so much for sharing that, both of you. I'm going to switch gears for a couple minutes and talk about some makeup, and specifically our boomsticks, because I know everyone loves them. And you know, a lot of times when ladies join ladies night, they do request that we show them, like, how do we use these boomsticks? So I came fresh faced. I washed my face, you know, just before we jumped on. So I have literally nothing on my face except my glasses. Oh, I should correct that. I do put Boom Gold on because that's my favorite moisturizer. So I did put a little Boom Gold on so that it would have time to absorb. And then I can kind of talk about how I do the boomsticks. So if it's your first time to ladies night, I'm going to show you really quickly, and it does go really quickly, how I create like my everyday sort of look with the boomsticks, 3 boomsticks here. While I do that, I'm going to throw another question out there to you, Sheryl, specifically. Do you ever wear boomsticks? I should not take them off just quite yet. Do you ever wear boomsticks when you go to auditions? And if so, do you apply them pretty much like, you know, how do they ask you, I guess, to come with, you know, light makeup? Do you wear the boomsticks? I'm going to start here with.
Well, the great thing about COVID is I live about 35 minutes from Columbus. I live in a small town, Granville. And I used to have to drive 45 minutes to my agent for a 5-minute audition, and I'd have to drive 45 minutes home. And since COVID, they let you self-audition in your kitchen. So I got a blue screen and a light, and it's been great. So I do wear all my trio by Boom Trio. Most of the things I audition for, I do commercials, a lot of commercials, and mostly not glamour girl things, just that fresh, natural look.
Right.
There's some movies that film in Ohio, and I've been asked to audition for some characters there. And if they're more plain Jane, then I go a little less on the color. And
yeah, I'm just kind of, and as you're talking, you can see that I am just sort of, I have no mirror in front of me. There is a little sort of cheating a little bit. There's a little video that I can sort of see myself, but you know, as you said, Sheryl, they're super easy to apply. If you're going to go for, you know, a very light look, you can build these too. But I usually, an everyday look for me is quite light. I start with the Boomstick Glow. I do put a little bit of that on my lips just for some moisture. Sometimes I'll put a little bit, you know, around the corners of my eyes. Just that's where I get like a little bit dry, is under my eyes right here. But the Boom Gold usually handles that for me. But what's nice about the Boomstick Glow is that you can put it over your whole face, your whole body. This is, if you're familiar with our Boom Silk, which I also happen to have right here. It's basically Boom Silk in a stick. It's the same ingredients. It's just, you know, in stick form so that you can kind of take it with you. I use this on my cuticles. It's really good for your cuticles, elbows, you know, all the usual spots where it gets a little bit dry, but definitely use a little bit of glow first. And then as I was just putting on Boomstick Color, I use a little bit on my forehead just to kind of, and this is a Cindy trick too, that I never really thought to, you know, to use it there, but she, you know, it basically creates that, you know, just that fullness in your face and a little bit of that, you know, sun-kissed kind of look. I use very little on my cheekbones because I tend to be a little on the pink side, you know, my Irish heritage, I guess. And then when I blend it in, so if I'm a little bit pink right now, that will settle itself down. I put very little bit on my cheeks. And then of course it's my go-to only color I really wear on my lips because it's universal, looks good on everyone. And then for a little extra, just for a little extra fun, I will put a little bit of the boomstick glimmer. And usually I'll put that right under my brow bone. And just a little bit, this is, I forget whose trick this may be, your trick, Jenny, a little bit on the sides, right? See, I learned these,
Yeah.
I pick up all the tricks, and everyone, I love it because everyone uses them just a little bit differently. And so, that for sure, again, it kind of just gives you that little bit of subtle like radiance without being, frosty or, real silvery looking. And just for fun, if I'm going out, I will use a little bit of this just right on my neckline here, or even on my shoulders. Now that it's getting warmer, you wear a sleeveless top or something out. I will put a little bit just for that little bit of shimmer. It's super fun. And I mean, that's pretty much it. That's like the everyday, showing up on a Zoom call for work, just so that I don't look like I just rolled out of bed. Although sometimes I go for that look too. Why not? But yeah, it's very easy. And, as everyone knows, 3 simple sticks. And I know, Jenny, you have a couple of interesting, other than that one that I learned from you, ways to kind of turn like the daytime look into an evening look with boomsticks. And I'm sure everyone would love to hear about that.
Well, I go for the sort of more natural look during the day. For the evening, I just, sort of reapply. I do use eyeliner, top and bottom for the evening, just to make my eyes pop. Lights are a little dimmer, so you can go a little heavier with the makeup. And I think the last time I brought out the pièce de la résistance is just to go a little bit heavier with the color, which you can afford to do because it is dimmer. And I, use eyeliner as well, and the glimmer in the corner of my eye here and right in here too. Just
right,
gives you a little. It gives you it makes your eyes pop.
Mm-hmm.
I can't see now, so
I know, same. I was like, I think I look pretty good. I have to put my glasses back on to see.
And then, Cindy Joseph actually did say at one point, you bring out just a statement necklace or something, some kind of the big guns, the bling.
Love.
And you're ready for the evening. A little bit extra and you're ready.
I love that. I love that. And I tried to do a little bling tonight too. I brought I was like, the biggest piece I can find. This is about as big as I go, but that is a statement, Jenny. That necklace is gorgeous.
Well, thank you. This is actually a line that the late Ruth Bader Ginsburg had the same necklace. So I'm wearing it in homage to her.
All right. Very nice. Very nice. I love that.
Yeah.
How about you, Sheryl? Do you have any like little tricks or ways that you use it that maybe, you haven't seen anyone else use?
I do like it on my décolleté, the boom glimmer. I also wear, when I'm doing auditions, a little bit of eye pencil. The one thing I learned from a Cindy Joseph tutorial was my eyebrows. I don't know what we used to pluck in high school because they are gone. And what's left is silver. So I was trying to, I think, I do better with powder. Cindy demonstrated with the pencil, but I don't control that as well. So I use a powder on my brows. But I would think I was trying to go too dark. I was trying to recreate my brows of my 20s. And Cindy's advice was that you don't try and do that. Your brows are thinner, and try and follow the line of the hair that is there. And also realize that your brows are not symmetrical, and don't try to make them look that way. So just take each brow independently and put a little powder on it. And of course I have to use a silver powder. If I use brown, it just looks ridiculous. So that's the little tip that I learned from Cindy that I use along with my 3 boomstick trio and my Boom Bright. And of course, I love the skincare line too. I put the gold on in the morning, and it's the base before I get started.
Nice. Yeah, I agree that, and as Cindy said too, like the brows that we have now are definitely different. I had growing up, I had what I called caterpillars above my eyes. They were very thick and very, and you know, I wasn't allowed to wax my eyebrows, you know, until I was an adult. Then I could do what I wanted. As my mom said, then you can do whatever you want to your face, but right now your face is perfect, leave it alone. But of course, in the 90s, I started waxing them off, and they do not grow all the way back. They grow back enough where you need to have them maintained. But yeah, same, you know, where they're much thinner, and so I definitely hear that's not the same. And you know, really none of our face is the same as it was in our 20s, nor should it be. And so that's why I really love something that's this pared down and simple, that you can build and still, you know, feel beautiful. Because now, you know, back then I would find the time. Growing up in sort of the 80s really is when I was into makeup in New Jersey. You know, it was like the more the better, and you know, you took the time to match everything and make everything symmetrical and all of that. And yeah, I think, you know, as you grow into your own, you realize you don't really need all of that. You just need, maybe want a little something that will enhance what you already have. So that's kind of nice. So I'm glad you shared that about what Cindy said, not to try to recreate that look, because goodness knows I would not want to look like that anyway, what I looked like in my 20s for sure. But yeah, the brows, they don't really grow back the way that you think they will. So yeah, so that was really fun. I do want to mention that we are also this evening going to kind of do a little bit of a demo with our brand new product, which is Boom Gloss. And I know the two of you ladies have received this. Before we do that, I know it's so fun, right? Before we do that, I do want to ask if, like, you know, how you use other Boom products. For example, you know, do you wear a sunscreen with Boom? I know a lot of our viewers this evening, and you know, through our support team, a lot of people will ask, you know, what else can I wear it with? You know, can I wear sunscreen under Silk or any of your other moisturizers? And I'm curious if either of you do that or have any other, you know, tips around using Boom products with other products.
I do use sunblock. My favorites, like you, for the daytime, Colleen, is the Boom Gold. I love it. I do, after I've cleansed my face, put a, you know, warm washcloth over my face, kind of steam it a little bit a couple of times. And so it's still a little damp. I then put a few drops, just two or three on my finger, warm them up, and just dab them, the oil across my face. And I almost feel as it's absorbing, it's taking in some of that moisture that was left on my skin. And once that's done, once it's absorbed, then I'll apply a sunblock. I live in Florida. I am darker skinned, but I still, want to take care of my skin. And so I do use a sunblock. Yeah.
Yeah. You, Sheryl?
Well, I don't like the chemicals of sunblocks. They get in your eyes, but I do. So I wear a wide brimmed hat when I go for walks, which is every day, and working in the garden. But if I am going to be outside a long time and I can't wear the hat, I do like to put on the Boom Gold. Then I put on the moisture stick, and that beeswax gives like a protective barrier to the sunblock, I feel like. So then I'll put the sunblock on and then add the color.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. So you basically, you layer that under the sunblock. Yeah. That's very interesting. I have not tried that. I use usually just a zinc based sunblock, but I wear the hat too, as opposed to putting on too much sunblock. I'm also, I'm not out in the sun a whole lot, even though I am in San Diego. I will wear a light shirt that covers my skin. So, but when I do wear sunblock, I'm going to try that. Put a little bit of the Boom Glow underneath it. That's very interesting.
Well, I do want to encourage women that are younger than the 60s that, you know, it is important to wear sunblock or have sun protection, because in recent years, I go to the dermatologist once a year, and she always finds some little thing that she has to freeze off. And last summer she had to freeze something twice on my nose. So I had to put a cream on it that kind of made the skin like flake off, but so far so good. But, you know, it is important to keep our skin
Right.
protected.
Right. Especially for those of us who grew up, you know, at a time when you put on baby oil and held a piece of tin foil under your chin for extra reflection. Tried that a few times myself, and, you know, paid for it a little bit, you know, with my very, very light skin, definitely burned for it. My skin will get red if I'm in the sun too long, and then it will sort of brown a little bit, but it's certainly not, you know, I cannot be in the sun for too long without some sort of protection. So so thank you for sharing that, both of you. That's really great and good, you know, really good advice. And if there's any sort of tips for the summer, I know we had one person write in and say that they actually put their boom silk in the fridge, which I thought was really kind of interesting and cool. And I must try that right away, just to kind of cool it down for the summer. So when they apply it, it's a little cooler. So I thought that was interesting. And
Great idea.
yeah, I love
I like
that.
that.
Yeah, and so before we move on from skincare, I know you both love Boom Gold and Boom Nectar, and I know everyone has their routine. And Jenny, you sort of just explained how you get I think that's interesting. I know that a warm compress will sort of open your pores a little bit. So it sounds like that really allows for it to absorb. Yeah. Any other tricks with your routine, either of you? You know,
I used to rub the Boom Gold in my hands, and now I don't want to waste it. So now I take the dropper and I drop a drop here and a drop here and a drop here and a drop here. And then I have a little moisture on my hands and gently rub it in.
I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that in future. I like that idea.
Yeah, me too. Because you do feel like it's so precious. Like the name Gold is so perfect for that product, because it really is. It's my favorite. And I while I will not put it on my hand, I'm going to try that. I also like to put it right here, you know, on my décolleté, because I feel like, I mean, I visualize when my heart beats, it's like, it's basically pushing it up so that I can, you know, be in that. The smell of it is just heaven to me.
Lovely.
So I just picture like every time my heart beats, I get a little waft of my Boom Gold. I love it. I really do. And so for the summer, I still use the Boom Gold in the summer, but I am going to try, if anyone's interested in that. I would love to hear what you think about putting that boom silk in the fridge and, you know, trying it in a little bit cooler when it's warm out. I also want to, so we're going to switch gears again here. I'm going to show everybody the gloss. This is sort of the moment that I've been waiting for. And that is to talk about our brand new product, our baby Boom Gloss. So Boom Gloss is kind of made to go on either by itself, or you can put it over your Boomstick Color or Boomstick Glimmer if you wear that on your lips, or any other lip color, really. It's sheer. I know it looks a little bit on the peachy side, but it does go on completely clear. And as I said, I have this little pop of the berry color of Boomstick Color. So I would just put this right on, and it has this really cool, I believe this is called a doe foot. Maybe it looks more like a doe foot when you hold it that way, but that's the name of this. You learn so much when you are creating a product, and I thought that was really cute and fun. The doe tip applicator, I think that's right. And it really, you don't need very much of it. And that just, for me, just gives that little extra, you know, that little extra shine. It's super moisturizing. It is plant-based. The ingredients are all plant-based. I can tell you just a little bit more about the ingredients. The product itself is completely hypoallergenic. It's gluten-free, it's alcohol-free, silicone-free. It's got all the good stuff that you would expect in a Boom product. And it's, for me, you know, I have tried lip glosses, not gonna lie. And they're always like very sticky and tacky. And while they might look nice for like a quick snapshot, the actual practical, you know, using it out in the world, it's not really ideal. You can't really smooch anybody on the cheek. It's going to end up, I've walked outside and, you know, your hair will get stuck in these other lip glosses. Not Boom Gloss. It is, you give it a minute or so to, you know, to kind of, it doesn't dry on your lips, but you give it a minute to kind of set, I'll say, use that word. And, you know, your hair doesn't stick to it. It doesn't leave like a sticky, gummy, you know, residue on a mug you're drinking out of. So it's really sort of a soft, we almost called it a lip oil because it does have some oils in it. We ended up calling it gloss, but it is a lip oil. And that is why it's so nourishing and hydrating at the same time. And again, you know, it does look a little peachy in here, but it goes on clear, as you can see, really just the Boom color showing through. Yeah, so, and we created this really based on all of you, on everyone out there who gives us feedback, customer feedback. You know, they let us know they would love to see a lip gloss or lip oil for grownups, you know, that's not sticky and tacky. And although the bright colors can be fun, you know, this is something that you can layer over any color lipstick that you have, you know, that if you're not using Boom color on your lips and you're using something else, you can layer this on top of it and be able to see that beautiful color and add that little bit of shine. So I'm curious what you ladies think of it. I know we got you an advanced tube of it.
I'm with you, Colleen. I was a little skeptical because I'm not really a lip gloss person. Don't usually wear them. So a little skeptical when I tried it, but my gosh, I mean, once I had it on for, you know, and it stayed on for I don't know, an hour or so, and it just felt so, it was almost like a lip treatment. I've got a better word for this, lip treatment.
Yeah.
It was so nourishing and left my lips so soft. And how I applied it was I put the Boom color on first, then the gloss, and then I just edge my lips always with a lip liner. I just feel it stops it from feathering out. That's just, you know, my little thing. But I love it. So now I'm sold on this. Thank you for sending it to me.
Yes, of course. Of course. How about you, Sheryl?
Well, I knew it was going to be coming, and I was just getting ready to mow my lawn when I noticed the package on my porch, and I thought, well, what do you do? And I thought, you get your gloss out and you put it on and you mow your lawn. And 45 minutes later, I was so impressed because typically glosses after you wear them a while are sticky and gummy and they almost dry your lips out. And I agree, Jenny, I felt it was like a lip treatment, and I have put it on over the Boom color stick, but I really like it just plain. And it has this sophisticated look, little shine, and you don't look like, you know, the 20-year-old rock stars with the glitter and
Right. It's not too much. It's just enough of that little bit of shine to kind of like draw a little attention to, you know, you feel a little bit special, even if you're just mowing your lawn. I love that. You rocked it with the lawnmower. That's awesome. Yeah, I wouldn't have been able to wait either if it was sitting on my, you know, like you said, what do you do? What do? You put it on. That's what you do. And you go mow your lawn. I love that. So I would love to hear from anyone out there, you know, on Facebook. What do you think of a new lip gloss? So if you have any thoughts, definitely don't hold back. Now is the time. We do have a question here specifically about the lip gloss, and from Maria, is it like a lip serum? I think you could probably say a serum, as Jenny said, like a treatment. It's definitely, you know, it's not a sticky sort of superficial, I just need some gloss on my lips. You definitely feel it softening your lips. There's oils and, you know, very nourishing ingredients in the formula. So I would say it would be fair to call it a serum. Yeah. So let's see. And yes, and Lori just asked if you can use the gloss on top of the boomstick. Yes, for sure you can use that. That's what I just did. I put on the boomstick color in case you missed it a little bit earlier, and then just put the gloss over top of it, and so you can still sort of see the color come through. I'm not big on, you know, really bright colors, especially on my lips. So I put just a little bit of boomstick color on, and then I feel like the gloss just, you know, amps it up a notch. So yeah, you can definitely use it. And some people even use the glimmer on their lips. I don't usually, but some people use boomstick glimmer, and you can put the gloss over the glimmer as well. It does not add any color. Nancy was asking if it has any color to it. You can see it looks peachy in the tube, but it is not peachy when it goes on. It will really just be transparent, essentially, with a little bit of shine to it. So yeah, so keep the questions coming. Love it. And some of the other questions I will get to at the very end. I just thought I would pick those few out since they were specifically about gloss, which is what we're talking about. But in a little bit, I will definitely go back and read some of the other questions that are getting dropped in the chat. So one other thing I do want to say about Boom Gloss is that, well, what it has in common with all the other products at Boom is it is pro-age. So it's made for us. It's made for women, you know, 50 and above. And really, it's made for everyone. It's made for people with lips. So, you know, that's pretty much everyone. But in terms of like it fitting into our brand ethos and our pro-age philosophy, you know, that's why we felt you know, it just adds that little bit of shimmer. It's not going to add a bunch of color. You can certainly put it over if you like color on your lips. You can put it, you know, right over them. And, you know, the entire concept of pro-age, of course, began with our founder, Cindy. And, you know, it's an idea that I'm definitely doing my best to pass along to my children, this idea of pro-age and, you know, really just embracing and loving yourself. Every wrinkle, of course, my young boys do not have wrinkles yet, but, you know, just looking at yourself in the mirror and loving what you see at any age. And, you know, I know they are young men. And so I can imagine that having young ladies, having daughters, there's probably an extra, you know, special, you know, importance to making sure that they feel beautiful at every age. And I know the two of you just really, you know, put out this amazing example of pro-age beauty and really kind of live that pro-age philosophy. So I know, Sheryl, that you had a very interesting story about choosing to be pro-age in your profession as an actress. And so I'd love it if you could share that with everyone.
Well, I have seen more bookings and I just feel more confident and I do feel prettier. I think when you hit a point in your 50s, the gold hair just starts to clash with your skin tones. And my agent at that point kept putting me up with 40-year-olds. And I thought, well, I look good for 58 or 60, but I'm not 40. So I really like the freedom to wear my hair naturally. And last summer, I was at the coffee shop and this girl said, "You're beautiful." And I'm like, "You talking to me?" And when I got in the car, I looked and I thought, you know, it is unique to embrace the aging process. And I look at a lot of actresses, and so many people do the fillers and do the Botox. And if that brings you joy, you know, have at it. But I did have an opportunity. My daughter's really good friend is a dermatologist, and she had just graduated a year ago from medical school. And so for Mother's Day, my daughter said, "You know, you mentioned you were thinking you had some lines in your forehead." And my friend, she believes in a natural light touch with Botox. So would you want us kids to chip in and get Botox for you? And because she went the more light natural, not the frozen look, and because I tend to get migraine headaches and I knew that Botox was good for migraines, I had my kids get me a certificate to get some Botox. Well, my youngest child, who doesn't text and to even get an answer, is just, yep, nope. When he found out I was considering this, he sent me this text that was paragraphs long saying, Mom, you always taught us to be natural, and I can't believe you're considering this. This is a slippery slope, and where will it end? So I did have to, stop and think, am I betraying my values? But I was curious, and because the opportunity arose, I did it. It's been a year. It did soften the lines and just a little bit of crow's feet. And it did help with I was working under fluorescent lights then, and it did help me not feel like I would go into a migraine. But if you've ever been stung by a bee and it itches when it heals, I would just start to itch my forehead a couple times a day. I did have that sensation. Would I do it again? I don't know. I'm not into fillers. I just don't like that pillow face look. And I just think that even when I see men on TV and you just go, wow, they just don't look like an older man. They just have that smooth, tight skin. And, again, whatever floats your boat. But I do embrace a more natural look. And I do try, and like Jenny, you mentioned, we should eat, we are what we eat. And I do embrace eating healthy. I walk and do exercises regularly. So I think we model that for our children, a healthy lifestyle.
Yeah, I love that. I love that story. Thank you so much for sharing and really honestly saying, I wanted to give it a try. And, we love that. Yes. Yay for, going with what made you feel good in the moment, and you tried it. And, now you have an opinion about it where, I don't know that I would personally do it. I'm just not big on needles. But also, my choice would be to probably not try it. And I love that you tried it, because you can kind of check that off. And if it was something that you enjoyed the look, and, you could do it again. And I think, what we really want to express at Boom is, you do what makes you feel beautiful. And that in itself is beautiful, that you're going to honor your own, desire to try this or try that or not try it. So we always encourage what makes you feel good, is what you should do. So I love that. I'm glad that you shared that. And so I also wanted to throw it over to you, Jenny. I know when we were talking yesterday, you mentioned a gift that you gave yourself for your 60th birthday, and I would love for you to share that story.
Well, again, no judgments on anyone who wants to try whatever. There's some work can be very, very good and very natural looking. And, that's great. I, probably won't. I'm very much into sort of nutrition, and what you put into your body is as important as what you put on your body. And I'm probably preaching to the choir, actually, because most of the ladies on this Boom party, Facebook party, probably fairly like-minded. They've done the research. They found Boom by Cindy Joseph. It's organic and natural ingredients, all, environmentally sourced responsibly and put together without any testing on animals, and, all these wonderful natural oils, the extra virgin olive oils, the jojoba oils, and so on. And that's great. But wouldn't it be wonderful if you could come at it from the inside and the outside? It's just a win-win situation. So in my, quest to grow older gracefully, mind, body, and soul, I signed up for a class at the Institute of Integrative Nutrition. It's an online course, and I, would become a health coach. And it really is quite eye-opening, even things that because they talk about not only the nutrition that you get from the food on your plate, but the nutrition that you get that feeds your soul, the things like your career, your relationships, your spirituality, your physical activity, its whole lifestyle sort of package that's just key. And when things are aligned, it shows on your face. And now, bearing in mind, what may be good for me now may not be good for me in a year's time, because as you guys know, we evolve and change, and things that I used to be able to eat and drink at one time, sadly, I can't do now, so we evolve and change, and we have to tweak and so on. But I think signing up for this class was just an example to my children that it's never too late to try something new. And I think they're impressed that I'm a co-ed now. I call myself a co-ed. So yeah, no, that's my passion. It's the nutrition side of it. If you can, all those little skin cells that are born inside your skin and are moving outwards, if they're healthy and nourished and strong and they reach the out, and then you're putting all these wonderful, honey and pollen and extra virgin olive oil from the outside, it's just a win-win. So that's my spiel.
I love that. Yeah, I love that. And I can really see how both of you in those stories show how, you're showing your children, you're putting that example out there that, it's okay to try new stuff at any age. And, it's all about kind of adding to that library of life, really, of experience. So thank you both for sharing that. I think that sort of went into our next question, which was around, teaching your kids to embrace life at every age, which I think, again, both of those stories really, really rang true to that. So I do want to ask a couple of the questions, because we've been getting a bunch of questions while we were talking about, in particular, people are saying you're both so beautiful. You have beautiful glowing skin. And of course, they want to know about the moisturizers and your routine. So I appreciate you sharing that. One specific question we got was, let's see. Do you use Boom Nectar? And if you do you use it with Boom Gold? And I think Jenny, you use the Boom Nectar.
Yeah, if I were sort of forced to make a choice, Boom Nectar would be it for me. I've said this before. If I was stranded on a desert island, I'd want the Boom Nectar. I don't use the two together. I generally use it at night, but sometimes I'll use it during the day too. If the weather's a little bit colder and I want something a little more nourishing. I simply love it. And I do the same thing. I warm my face up and try and open my pores up. Skin is slightly damp. And then I just sort of dab it in and just gently with my fourth finger, just massage it in very, very gently. So I'm not dragging the skin or pulling the skin, just sort of dabbing. But I love that Boom Nectar.
Yeah, I do want to highlight for anyone who did not just catch that, the fourth finger reference. That is another tip that I learned from you, Jenny, was the fourth finger. I feel like I'm very gentle when I put my Boom Gold on, but now I use the fourth finger, especially under my eye, because as you said, it's just inherently gentle. It's just gentler than your other, your pointer finger. It does a lot of work, so it's strong and it kind of has a little more of a, to it. Whereas that fourth finger is just so gentle and sweet. And so for those of you who are looking for a tip, it's the fourth finger. I love that. I love that. That is, I use that every day now.
Yay.
Barbara said her lips tend to burn easily during the summer. I'm assuming, being out in the sun, and she's asking if you would recommend using a sunscreen first. I think, the skin on your lips is so delicate, and I don't know, I don't use like a sunscreen based, balm or anything on my lips, but I would imagine that it's probably, if your lips burn that easily, I would keep them out of the sun. Definitely gloss it's not any sort of meant to be a protective layer against the sun. Certainly, you could maybe try Cheryl's trick of putting the glow on first, so you have like that barrier, and then maybe putting the sunscreen on.
But I think Cheryl's idea of the glow, with the honey and the pollen and so on, and the beeswax as well, providing that mantle, protective mantle might be an idea. When I put the glow on, I do use it on my lips. I kind of go over the lip line to moisturize, so that I don't start getting those, what do they call them? Smokers lines.
Mhm.
So I actually will go all the way around my lips as well.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. I definitely try to overdraw,
Yeah.
with the glow. Yeah. So we are getting a couple questions about the differences between the moisturizers. So I'm just going to kind of go through really quickly the moisturizers that we have, and explain, a couple of the differences. I'll start with Boom Silk. So I mentioned earlier that Boom Silk is it's essentially Boomstick Glow in a tub, in a cream form. So it's the same ingredients, and it is meant for head to toe, day to night. Really, it's your kind of your go-to moisturizer. You can, as Cindy used to say in many videos, you can use it from the top of your head to the bottom of your feet, and that's definitely, so this is our super multitasker. And really, there's no wrong way to use it, no wrong time to use it. We had another question which sort of nicely segues into this, which is, what do you use for night? The nice thing about Boom Silk, and actually our other moisturizer that I'm going to mention in a second, it's meant for day to night. There's no, Cindy felt like, a lot of times the marketing around some of these creams, day cream, night cream, it's probably the same cream and they just want you to buy 2 of them. And we're saying, like, Boom Silk, it's really for any time. It's for anywhere on your body. I use it on my face. I use it, basically everywhere. Like Cindy says, head to toe, Boom Silk. Although I do favor Boom Cotton, which is currently out of stock, but we are working to get it back in our store really soon. But you can, if you go to our store and you click on our Boom Cotton, you can get on our list, and we'll let you know as soon as it's back in the store. But Boom Cotton is essentially, like Boom Silk, it's meant for using head to toe, day or night. It is a little bit, it's a little thicker. It's essentially, the difference is it gives a little bit more of a matte finish. So if you tend to have a little bit more of an oily skin or oily complexion, you will find that Boom Cotton, the finish of it is just a little bit more of a matte finish. But essentially, it is also meant for your entire face and body and cuticles and everything. So those are the 2 main moisturizers. And again, Boomstick Glow that's your Boom Silk in a stick form. So it's just very portable. And then I know we've been talking about Nectar and Gold, and Jenny did a wonderful job of sort of explaining the difference for her. It's definitely a serum. Boom Nectar is more of a serum. It's got, vitamin C in it. And I believe it's a camu berry or camel oil, which has just tons of vitamin C, which is really good for the skin. And Boom Gold, the difference there is obviously it is an oil blend. So it's more of a facial oil, and a little bit more, as Sheryl said, like, it's just very precious. So Sheryl won't even put it on her hand anymore. You don't want to waste it on your hand, the palm of your hand, which I'm sure could benefit from a little bit of it too. But I hear you. It's like you want to put it on your fingertips so that you can, really get it where you want to get it on your face. But those are the main differences.
Can I talk about the skincare line?
Yes, of course.
I've been using it about 3 months, and I really think it has improved my quality of my skin. I start with Boom Cleanse at night, and you just a little few drops does a great job cleaning your face, and it has this really light grapefruit smell. It's just wonderful. And then I at night use the Boom Nectar, and it is more robust, and I just rub it in and let it settle in for a few minutes, and then I finish off with the Boom Silk. And then in the morning I do the Boom Clean, and then I do the drops of the Nectar, and then I let it settle in a few minutes, and then I do the glow stick, and then start with my makeup routine. And then about once a week I use the Boom Scrub. And I heard you, Colleen, say that it's not like the scrubs when we were children, and it was the ground up apricot shells that really scratched your skin. And there is a difference. It really does have a gentle, I think it was oat
Yeah. Yeah. There's
something.
oats
And
in it. It's oat kernel.
yeah, and it really does a nice job of exfoliating. And then I even heard you're supposed to rub it on your lips, which I've been doing lately. And I find as a mature woman, my lips have really suffered the most in drying out so frequently. So I am just tickled pink with this Boom Gloss, because it's really, I can tell, a serum that's going to make a big difference.
Can I mention also that Boom Scrub? Because talking about the skin and the skin cells moving outwards, and they die once they, reach the outside. I mean, this you could use, it's so gentle. I use it 2-3 times a week. I think you could use it daily if you wanted to. It's just fabulous. And it does, remove those dead cells. Your skin, changes every 28 days, you get a new skin. So you can remove all the old dead cells, and all those lovely new, well-nourished cells can poke through and shine through, so I do love that Boom Scrub.
Yeah, I do too. I'm glad to hear both of you use it and enjoy it. For me, again, we have the most talented team of product formulators on our team, and the scents, the smells of these products are just, I mean, they're just amazing. And Boom Scrub is probably, with Boom Gold, but Boom Gold you get to leave on, where Boom Scrub you have to rinse it off. You kind of can't walk around with it on your face all day, but the smell of Boom Scrub is just, it's so fresh, and so it's just heavenly. I really enjoy using that too, and I use it a couple times a week as well. That's one of my favorites too. So hopefully that that answered your question. I think that was Jackie's question. So we're talking about moisturizers, and then we got into the whole skin cleansing and everything. So hopefully that answered your questions. We do have another compliment for you ladies. You're all glowing. And we did have someone ask if we're all wearing the trio. Obviously, I just put the trio on. I'm assuming both of you ladies have some of the trio products on as well. Yeah. So you can see how, natural it looks. I love that, Jenny. I can see the
Can you see it?
glimmer. Yes.
Under the brow and then here.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Love it. I love it. It's one of my favorite tricks that I've learned. It's so great. And then we have Cynthia, and Cynthia says, as a 75-year-old, what product would you purchase first? She hasn't bought any of the products yet. Well, I would personally start with, as I showed earlier, with the trio, because it kind of gives you, of course, one of our best moisturizers in a stick form. It's nice and portable. You can use it. I would say I probably use it more on my lips as a lip balm than anything else. I do also use it, cuticles and other places on my face, as I mentioned, but it's the best lip balm. I also get to, get the Boomstick Color multitasker. You have your bronzer, highlighter, your lip, cheek, you kind of get it all in this one stick. And then the glimmer is it's just so fun to kind of like zhuzh, to coin my favorite. Our copywriter found out how to spell zhuzh because I happen to use it on many calls. Hopefully I'm not freezing up at all. I did just see a little note that said my internet connection is unstable. So that being said, I am going to, let's see, I'm going to switch gears a little bit and talk about the last little demo of the evening. Boom Bright, and I know you ladies use Boom Bright as our Pro Age mascara, and on our last ladies night, Boom Bright was out of stock because you ladies just love it so much, and it went out of stock very quickly. And so we have it. Store is full of Boom Bright, so you can get your Boom Bright. I feel like I'm freezing up. I hope that's not coming across too much.
Yeah.
Well, while I'm going to put the Boom Bright on, and I'm going to let each of you, while I'm putting on the Boom Bright as best I can in my little video that I can see of myself. I'd love to hear like Boom Bright.
I love it. I so I tend to go with 2 or certainly 3 layers for evening time, where I'll apply it, let it sort of dry a little bit, and then, you know, just keep working it to get the look I want. I don't know. How about you, Sheryl?
Yeah, I like to layer it too. It smells so good. It's really been made for the pro-age woman. It doesn't clump. It's kind of, I want to say hydrating for your lashes, but I don't know if that's the right word. Moisturizing. It doesn't dry them out. It doesn't. It's just good for your lashes, and it's hypoallergenic, and
Yeah.
it can recycle the tube as well. I guess it's made from sugar cane or something. And
it is a special type of sugarcane polymer that is more recyclable. Yes, and it's basically, it's environmentally friendly as we can get a piece of plastic, but it is very highly recyclable. And also the other cool thing about, well, let me just show you. I just put on 1 layer. I'll just lean in there. I feel like it just gives that little extra pop. That's usually the last thing I will put on, especially if I'm going out. And like the 2 of you, maybe hours later, like I've got my daytime, which hasn't been often lately, but it will be, it will come back. I'll be going out more. And then I would just put another layer on, before I go out. But I was going to say the other cool thing is the wand. It is the wand itself is specially designed. The bristles are short on one side, a little bit longer on the other. As you said, Sheryl, the formula itself is moisturizing. There is a rose oil in it that is moisturizing, really kind of perfect. The shape of the brush was considered, when we were creating this product for, women 50 and older. Your eyelashes become maybe a little bit thinner. So the way that the brush is shaped really helps you to kind of get all those lashes. I don't usually put on my lower lashes, but you can use the tip of the brush. If you put mascara on your lower lashes, it's very, it's nice and small. You can kind of get right in there. But the cool thing about it is we do have a way where you can upcycle the wand. You can send it in if you go to our blog and search, the mascara. You can find out how to upcycle the wand and send it into an animal rehabilitation center, where they use these little brushes to help animals in distress. Maybe they have oil or something on their fur or their feathers, and these small little brushes are very handy in helping to rehabilitate animals. So Boom definitely cares in so many ways, which is another reason why I love working for this company.